live inside the Loft 100 studios here in Southern California. You may not be in Southern California, you may be anywhere in the world watching or listening. We always appreciate you being along for the show. Day Trader Trio, always along for the show as well. Of course, back here at the bar, it is Costa, it is Maribel Godwin, and it is Sully with a very special guest. We love when this guy's in
Dan
studio.
Negroni, the author of Chasing Relevance, and now the author of
Find Your Workverse, Gen Z's Playbook to Thrive at Work with AI, with Humans, with Purpose. Dan Negroni and Michelle Duvall with Coach Marley.
Is your school year started yet?
No, it starts next week.
Professor
next Tuesday, yeah, week from today.
So what are you teaching this year? Anything new?
Yeah, I am teaching something new called Business Professions, which is very much along the lines of this book, which is teaching young Gen Zs how to articulate their value and enter the workforce with all the tools. And now there's a playbook. Super cool.
Is it easier now for the Gen Zs to get into the workplace versus the Millennials, when it was really like we had a whole different class of people going to the old school, and now
That's such a great question. I really think it's a great question. I think Millennials actually had it easier because I think the world was different and easier. It wasn't as complex. We didn't have all the technology, and the chances of them succeeding was a lot greater.
No kidding.
So, if you look at it, like I have a 33-year-old son and a 24-year-old son, and the difference is radical. Really? In terms of opportunities. The 34-year-old got right in there under the weather, under the line, or just to figure out how to be successful, to afford his first house, all those things.
Is this an economic thing in your mind?
I think it's an economic thing. I think it's a technology thing.
So
an economy, right? So AI is impacting, jobs. I think it's really tough for Gen Zs out there now.
So on that subject, though, the person that can slay that dragon of AI, just like the person that could master the internet back when in 1990, when the first .com bubble, or whenever it was, 1998 actually, the first .com bubble burst. Don't you think it's an opportunity here for guys like your son, who's...
You know me, I think everything's an opportunity. Sure. However, I think it's a little bit more difficult for them. What do you think the reason is? It's interesting to ask you guys.
Well, I always use the analogy of the music business. When there were record stores and there were record labels, and there was only one way to make yourself famous in music or get your music heard, that's to be on the radio. Okay? So there's only a finite amount of ways to get on the radio. You had to get a record label talks to the radio station plays your music. Now, it's so much more democratic. Anybody can release a song on any platform tomorrow. They can promote their song. The problem is there's so much traffic now, it's tough to be seen. So what
do you think that does to them? Because I love that comment. I think it's super
I think that's the analogy I can think of about what's happening.
I love the analogy. There's something that happens to them when it's that competitive.
Anonymity.
First of all, anonymity and lack of confidence.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Because it's just so hard to stand out, and everyone knows or can see what everyone else is doing, and so the whole world is there. So all they are is confused, and what about me, and do I have the skills? And we haven't upped the teaching of them anything. Right. We've just given them a device to be able to do this with.
Haven't we also, though, the older generations poison the well a little bit for them? Coming in
terms of what?
Gen Zers. Oh, you don't want to hire a Gen Z. They're going to be, they're like, oh my God, they can't.
So I think that's equal. We've always been like that. Every generation since the beginning of time.
That damn rock and roll music.
Yeah. Socrates and Plato, right? Same thing. And there's quotes of that kids don't exercise, they don't have manners, they eat with their mouth full from, 4,000 years ago. So I think we've always been like that. However, I do think the way the world is now with technology, Australia now banning technology until you're 16, I am so addicted to my phone. Mm-hmm. Sure. It is so addictive.
Someone said the other day, I was talking to a young parent, one of my daughter's friends, saying, no screen time. We're not going to have any screen time in the house until they're 12 years old. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I understand why, but doesn't that put that child at a disadvantage eventually? Because wars will be fought from Las Vegas, Nevada, on the other side of the earth using video game technology.
Yeah, it's the way of the world.
It's almost. I don't
think it's no screen time.
Happy bells.
Limited screen time.
Quality screen time.
Right, and quality without giving them a device to have in their bedroom late at night while no one's watching.
Can I tell you, my daughter gave my ex-wife, who's very close friends of mine, something called a brick. Have you heard of a brick?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Now, I don't have a problem with social media.
Right?
you put your phone next to the brick,
do that
and
at concerts.
you pick the apps that you don't want to be on. And if your phone is away from that brick, you cannot get on Facebook no matter what. You cannot get on Instagram. I'm never going to put Instacart on there because I need to be on Instacart. But the point is, I think you're right. The right screen time, the quality time, and not absence of screen time, but it's got to be the right screen time.
They're so concerned about getting better. It's interesting. We had all these great guests with my last class last semester. We brought them here, like 60 of them.
Yeah.
We had this great real experience with all these great guests, general counsels, DAs, mediators. And at the end of class, I said, what more do you need from me? And they said, we need to talk to students or kids, people that are just a few years ahead of
they want a roadmap.
our career, because we need a roadmap. And all you people, like taking them here and meeting you guys, or taking them to meet a DA or a general counsel, that's so far from their reality. And they want to see, what do I have to do
They want the
3
on-ramp.
years from now? Because there's so much out there that they can't focus on it. And it was a brilliant day I brought my son and some other friends' sons.
They're a few years ahead.
And it was, first of all, the experience for the guest speakers, and then the experience for the class. It was goosebump worthy. So we should do that here sometime.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting here, for what you're talking about, because you have a playbook now.
Yeah.
Really and that's what Find Your Workverse is about. Talk about the book for a minute.
Yeah, the book is really 3 parts. So it's really understand what the workplace is now, find what type of workplace you want to be in, and then unlock your own potential to apply it to. So it's 3 major parts. It's a playbook. It uses Marley's motivation analysis, and it really allows them to understand themselves so in kind of the private life in front of their computer, so they can go to the world and have a little bit more confidence.
Let's go back to the assembly line, or let's go back to interchangeable parts on an auto machine, where we were so worried that millions of jobs we lost. All of a sudden, the jobs.
Great questions today. Hard questions.
But do you think? You said that we shouldn't be afraid of AI. We should be embracing it, because if you think of it in the right context, right?
Yeah, it's AI plus human equals superhuman. And so again, as you saw when we had that very young lady here who said garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, right.
And it's really teaching them how to think, which is the big problem.
Yeah.
And how to think is how to use AI for their benefit instead of just relying on it as a crutch. And if we can do that with all of them, and we teach them from a very early age how to make it your friend, I think the possibilities in the world are super up.
We need monthly events with you. We need to do one out there at the campus and bring more people in here.
Oh, going to the campus would be a hoot.
Well, no, Mike, we're there to work. Okay.
Sorry.
You go in the back door, out, walking through the cafeteria. Dan Negroni.
Dan Negroni, speaker, CEO, coach, consultant, chief launch officer, professor, granddad, author, Find Your Workforce, Gen Z's Playbook to Thrive at Work with AI with Humans with Purpose. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for this edition of the Big Biz Show. We brought as much purpose as we could. We will see you next time. Thanks for being with us.